Welcome to Block 37 of our Celebrating the States Block of the Month. This is our version of the New Hampshire block. For this block, you will need 3 fabrics, a light, a medium, and a dark. From the light fabric, you will need to cut 1 square 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches and 8 squares that are 3 inches by 3 inches. Bisect each of the 3-inch squares corner to corner to get 16 triangles. If this is the first state block you are seeing, check the description below for a link to the playlist of all the other states in this series. From the dark, cut 4 squares that are 3 3/8 inch by 3 3/8 inch and 4 rectangles that are 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches. From the medium fabric, cut 4 rectangles that measure 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Now it's time to sew. Please use 1/4 inch seam allowances. With the right sides together, piece the medium rectangles to the dark rectangles. Press the seams towards the darker fabric, or if you prefer, you can press the seams open. Once pressed, the resulting square should measure 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. With the right sides together, piece light triangles onto opposite sides of the dark 3 3/8 inch squares. Center the triangle as best you can, but you don't have to be perfect because we will be trimming these later. For this part, you will use 8 of the light triangles. Press towards the light triangles. Using the remaining 8 triangles, with the right sides together, sew them onto opposite sides of the unit you just made. Center the triangles on the sides as best you can. When I'm centering the triangles, I just try to make sure that the same amount is hanging off both edges. To reduce bulk, trim the little triangles that hang off the edge of the seam. Press towards the light triangles. Trim the square-to-square units to 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. I try to line the points of the inner square up to the 2.25 inch markings. Add in the light 4.5 inch square with all the pieced units to lay out your block. The rectangle unit will go on each side of the center square. You can have the dark next to the square, or you can have the medium next to the square. The square and the square blocks will go in each of the corners. You will now have 3 rows of 3 blocks. Piece the 3 rows in order, and then we'll press. Press towards the rectangle blocks. Only 2 more seams and your New Hampshire block is done. Double check that you have the outer rows positioned correctly before you sew the rows together. Sew the last 2 seams together, and then we will press towards the center row. Once pressed, this block will measure 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches. We hope that you will remember to hit the like button, leave a comment for us, share with your quilting friends, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and happy quilting!